Hello. In this section, we'll work on enemy shooting. We will also work on some adjustments to our sprites and how player is rendered. But mainly we will focus on enemy shooting system. Before that, let's start by adjusting the zoom in our camera main. As you can see by those purple lines, currently zoom is too big because even if we run this, well, not the whole playable area is visible. So I will adjust this to be 2.5. And I believe this to be the correct value for our case. Next thing I would like to handle is actually the way we handle our sprites. So I prepared new sprite atlas. Let me bring that in, and if you would like to add this is going to be on a GitHub. So this is, I believe, Battle City 5 file. Let's bring that in and bring it to assets. And as you can see here, the difference is that, can I zoom that? No. The difference is that everything is grayed out so that we can modulate it. It has some UI elements, some other minor adjustments. So if you'd like to use it, I would have to go to player, and I will have to use animated sprite instead because we have animation there. So let's do add child node, animated sprite to the animation, new sprite frames, and let's open animation panel here. And let's see. Oops, I will have to open the sprite frames, and we have default. We can set it to loop and autoplay on load. Go to assets, Battle City 5. These are all 16 by 16. So, oh no, the size is 16 by 16, of course. Let's grab these two and let's set this as default autoplay, and let's hide the sprite. We can actually remove it altogether. And now if we run this, we have our animation. The problem, of course, is that we don't want this animation to play when the player is stationary, like not moving. So we will have, of course, to adjust this. Let's go to our script. And what we will need is we'll have to get the reference to our animated sprite. Okay. And with that, we have to check in our physics process what to actually do. So if we are not moving, which is indicated by vector2 set by input vector set to 0, we need to do animated sprite to d set frame and progress frame 0 progress 0, which will prevent the animation from playing. And as you can see, it is playing correctly now only when we're moving. So we have that out of the way. I would like also to be able to set the color of our player. So let's export var color, and we'll use color gold by default, but it is exported, so we can change it whenever we want. And we can just say animated sprite to the modulate is equal to color. Sorry. And then our tank is colored, which is great. So we have that out of the way. Let's see, what else do we need? This is all good. So the next thing that we can handle actually is our enemy shooting. And then let me see, we could probably just get rid of the sprite 2D. Let's see. Yes, we can just get rid of that. We don't need it anymore. And we could remove it from the node 3 as we are using animated sprite 2D right now. Let me turn mouse highlight. Okay, so going to our enemy, what we'll need is actually make our enemy shoot, which they don't do right now. So to do that, I will go to enemy and I will add child node, marker 2D, and below that, as a child, I will add a timer. So I will call this enemy shooting system, and then call this shoot timer. And since this is like definitely separate subsystem, I will create a script for that. Let's place this in scripts folder, open and create, and let's add a class name here. So enemy shooting system. We'll export few variables here. So the speed of the bullet, which will depend on the type of the tank. Minimal shoot interval. And max shoot interval. In seconds, of course. We will grab the reference to shoot timer, and this of course is a var, and we need the reference to a bullet scene. So let's go to scenes, find a bullet, drag and drop this, and call this of course bullet scene. We'll also need to track whether the tank can shoot right now, and basically with all of that, we need to set up the signal from our shoot timer. So let's grab this, let's connect to timeout and connect it here. Perfect. Then we need to set up our timer. So let's see, in inspector, this is all good. We can start with the default values for our timer. We'll do necessary adjustments via code. So in ready function, shoot timer wait time should be defined as a random from range from minimal shoot interval and max shoot interval. Not x, but max. Okay, and we just start it. Then the magic happens in our timeout. Okay, so if we cannot shoot, we just return. And then since we're spawning a bullet here, we will set can shoot to false. Next step, let me get some space here, is to actually instantiate the bullet. So bullet is equal to bullet scene instantiate. We'll set the global position of the bullet, which is going to be the global position of shooting system node, which actually has to be placed correctly. So let's see. We definitely don't want those to spawn uh, from the center. Let's disable that, and let's place this. I believe the correct value is minus 1.8 uh, from where we will spawn the bullets. We may need to adjust this based on tank type, but let's leave it for now here. So this is where we spawn the bullet from. Then direction of the bullet is equal to get parent movement direction, and we need to set the rotation for the bullet. And I wonder, maybe we did this already in this shooting system. We do bullet direction and we set the rotation here, so no need to do this. It's already there. Okay, we can get rid of that code. Then bullet speed should be bullet speed, and then we need to make one change, because if we take a look at our bullet and the collision mask, right, we're colliding with a brick, which is okay, but then the enemy bullet will collide with the bullet itself and not with the player. So we need to adjust the collision masks. And we can do it simply via code. So bullet set collision mask value 4 to false. Do not collide with the enemies. And bullet set collision mask value 1 to true, which means that it's going to collide with the player. Get tree root add child bullet, and then bullet on tree exited connect, and we can create anonymous function here saying can shoot is equal to true, and that should allow us to have our enemies shooting at us. Let's see. Oh yeah, but the problem is they do stay in place, right? So let's see what's the problem. The problem is the bullet speed, which was not instantiated to any value. Let's start with 100 and let's see how that goes. And we can see that our enemies are shooting, which is great. Okay. Then we need to decide what to do when the bullet hits the player. So if area is enemy explode and QE free. So this is good. We can do very same check for a player, right? So if area is player, we can say area as player explode and QE free. Could not find type player. This is probably because we did not define the class. Class name player. Perfect. So we have that sorted out, but we need that explode function here. So let's write this. So the idea is to play the explosion animation. So going here, we will need to go to explosion effects. So FX with new animation, call this explode. Go to explosion effects, and I don't know, let's do, oops, this is too big. The size is 64 by 64. Let's grab this one. And let's increase the speed. Let's see how this looks. Kind of cool. The problem is we will need to adjust the size of it. But that's totally doable. So let's say animated sprite 2D scale is equal to vector 2 0.25.25 and animated sprite 2D play explode, and then we need to also for our player disable all the controls. So speed set to 0, set physics process to false, and set process input to false. That's it, but we need to actually destroy our player node after that animation finishes playing. So let's connect to animation finished. Let's check if the animation is actually explode animation. And then we query free. Okay. We also need to check for when the player collides with an enemy tank, right? So let's see. What do we collide with? We don't need to collide. Well, we need to collide with other tanks. And brick and enemy. We don't need to collide with our own. Okay, I believe this will be the correct mask. So then we just need to hook to a signal of area entered. Area entered, let's connect to that. Let's check if the area is enemy. If it is, we just call explode again. Okay, so we need to check two things. And we're too slow. Speed, let's do it 75. The collision with the enemy. Yeah, and it works, as you can see. Oh, but it loops, right? So let's disable looping. Perfect. And I would very much like to check where we can collide with a bullet once one of the enemies shoots our way, but I believe it is just working. It just works. Okay, come on, shoot me. And it works. Perfect. So with that, there's one more thing to add in this section, and it is actually to um, at the victory lose condition, and this is very simple. We will create eagle scene. Let's go to scene, new scene, and create new scene, area D, and I will call this eagle. Let's save this in the scenes folder. And what do we need here? We need sprite 2D, and we will of course need collision shape. So with that, let's set the sprite. Quick load the Battle City 5, and of course we need to set the region. Let's edit this to match our eagle. Let's make sure to set this correctly. Snapping to pixel and to grid is set. Step is set to 1 by 1. I could also do pixel snapping. It would be the same, but it's easier to see the actual grid. So we have that. We need to add the collision shape to it. I mean shape to collision shape. This is also very easy because we know that's 16 by 16. We need just to bump it up a little bit. And we need to actually add this to our level. So let's instantiate eagle and place this in a proper place. And we do have snapping. So it's 97. Oops. Okay. Perfect. Then we need a little bit of code for our eagle. So let's see. First thing I would like to do is to add a mask for it. So in project settings, 2D physics, I will add eagle and make sure that this is actually the layer for it, and it should collide with enemy, and it should collide with a bullet. Perfect. So now we can add the code. Let's put it in the scripts folder and create. We will add the class name and set it to eagle. It will have a signal of game over, and we need a reference to sprite to turn this into a flag once it gets hit. So we need to create a function that will change this to flag, and this is just sprite 2D. We can change the region rect. We set let's see, we set here, where is it? Yeah, we can change this by code, and I happen to know that this is 49 by 80 by 16 by 16. So these two first are the XY coordinates, and then there's width and height. And we need to do some stuff for whenever hits our eagle. So let's connect to area entered. I can say if area is bullet, or area is enemy, we need to change the flag. We need to call Q3, but only for a bullet. So let's do game over emit first, emit that signal, and then if area is bullet, we will do area fury free. Okay, and here we need to also disable the collision shape to not have this trigger again. Disabled. Okay, let's actually test this and let's see where we can lose the game. Let's go here and let's try destroying it by our own. And speed and speed is null for some reason. Okay. Oh, we need to provide bullet speed for our shooting system. Strange. Okay. Bullet speed, let's set this to 100 for the player. Let's try this again. And we have lost. Okay, and this has to be deferred because we're flashing queries. So let's do set deferred property name, or we can just do property is disabled and this is set to true. And let's see, and we have lost. We can check for that. Well, we don't have game manager yet, but we can simply say print debug lost. Perfect. So this is how we can lose the game. So thank you for that. These are some updates to our enemies and to our gameplay. In the next section, we will probably create a game manager and start working on different types of enemies. I'll see you there. Thank you.